Take it slow.
Well,
That's why I asked a question about what you think about.
Have a walk in the weekend, you know?
Hey?
Have a walk in the weekend, you know?
I
Have a
don't-
walk around the botanical gardens.
I've got a couple of
Walk
dogs.
one of the
They
trails
keep
or
me
tracks.
fit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
You
what
know?
I mean?
Yeah.
Strangest things that you've seen.
Is that fit?
It's no, mate. No, it's not. Fucking hell. Well,
We've had him
no,
in here for
Peter.
10 minutes. He's already.
I've lost 15 kilos too, by the way.
I was going to say.
I used to do radio.
So I'll go into the question. Do you spend a lot of time? Have you been sleeping in the bushes? Do you always find a house to sleep in?
No. I mean, sometimes that's kind of scary, you know, because you get this whole picture painted of one, that you're going to get moved on or, you know, shifted on by police or something. Two, that once you're inside a tent and you're lying down and someone comes along and they've got, you know, some big thing to clobber you with, they're going to. But nothing even remotely like that has happened. Nothing at all. I mean, I had one time where I thought the police were coming to clear me away, so I like hid off in the bushes and left my tent there and thought, oh, they're not going to find me, they're not going to find me. Next morning I got up after a really bad night's sleep, got up really early, wandered 50 metres along, and there's like tents everywhere, and the police had only been there to make sure that everyone was kind of keeping it in order and keeping it quiet. So, and people keep saying to me, you know, be really careful, you know, New Zealand looks like a really safe place, but there's some mean mothers here, you know.
Yeah.
And I go, well, okay, well, great, thanks for the advice. And, you know, not a single thing has occurred to this moment that has in any way put me ill at ease. But yeah, in parks, in behind little signs that say no freedom camping, but being invited into people's homes, you know, like people I've never met who rock up beside me and go, hey man, we see you walking, we like the reasons you're walking, why don't you come to our place? And then I've, like, Seba and Fiona up north basically took me into their home for 4 days. Wow. It rained for those 4 days. I met their two little daughters. I went to their daughter's school and spoke to all the kids there, and made new friends out of people who just kind of had the heart to go, hey brother, we see you walking, why don't you come in?
Little steps.
Changes my perspective on things, I got to tell you, and as that happens, you know, that kind of ripples out. Mm. I got a bunch of people coming tonight, more could come, to 53 Thompson Street. I'm doing a presentation there called Quantum Leap, an introduction to Quantum Leap. And that's really what I'm asking people to do, is actually take that quantum leap. We just go through some steps from 7 o'clock tonight to just go, you want to start thinking about how you might step out of your life that as it is now. If you're not totally happy with it, then want some clues about how to take a step out.
Man, I feel like I've been in therapy for the past 20 minutes.
You know,
seriously, it's just like I've realised I'm fat and unfit. Really don't have direction in the world.
You could have just asked someone.
Well, I know. Hey, listen, I've been looking at the pictures. Thanks. I've been looking at the pictures. Actually, you really have lost weight. Actually, one of those pictures on walkingonworld.org really shows the difference just in your physique, mate.
Yeah.
It's
he's like the new version of the Subway guy.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. Peter, where are you going south from here? You're leaving Wellington in the next few days.
And how long do you think it's going to take you to walk the South Island?
Oh, that's I've got the way I see it, I've got until about April. So because, you know, if I'm going to sail from New Zealand to the Pacific Islands, it's really got to be no later than kind of mid-autumn. Yeah. They just won't sail through the winter. It gets it's too rough and that kind of thing.
It's got a place for you to go when you're heading about 10 k's. When you're about 10 k's north of Dunedin, little village called Waitati.
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 Not WH then.
No, it's not. It's WAI. There's a place called the Opera House. It used to be owned by an old, I'm digressing, but it used to be owned by an old hippie. They had some wonderful parties up there in the 60s and 70s, and now it's a bit of a commune, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place, and I think you'll meet some very like-minded people there.
Nice, thank you.
Waitati, the Opera House.
I went to one called Arfi Farm, which is up at Tarangi.
Oh, yeah.
And that's an amazing place. There's a bunch of people there working with a woman who's a Maori woman who's kind of leading it, along with a couple of people who are right into, you know, organic farming and so on, and they've taken this piece of scrubland and they're turning it into a, you know, like a demonstration space for how to grow your own food and how to look after a life that is a little outside the ordinary. Stayed there for about a week and worked and dug gardens, and I've dug about I get 6 or 7 gardens on the way. So the people, Seba and Fiona, I dug a garden for them and said, you know, stick some things in here.
Good on you, Peter.
Stuff like that, you know, it's...
Can we keep in touch?
Definitely, yes.
Like him on Facebook, Redbird.
Yeah,
I'll do more than that.
Facebook.
I'll do more than that.
Like him on Facebook. Follow him on Twitter. You're a social media gamer.
At Walking Our World, yeah. And Peter Walking Our World on Facebook.
And we'll put the links up on...
So do you ever... do you try different styles of walking out to keep yourself entertained? Do you ever walk backwards?
I haven't done a lot of backward walking.
That's a great question, I like that.
But yes.
What about sideways, like crab walking?
Walking with your eyes closed, I always find is really...
Yeah, do you walk with your eyes closed?
Yes. I have actually walked with my eyes closed. I try not to do that as much on the highways.
No.
Because, you know, it is... You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff where they talk in a whole range of teachings. They teach you to, like, learn about focus and attention, you know, how to really bring your focus and attention to this moment. And I can tell you right now that when log trucks are coming down the highway and there's no shoulder on the road, your focus and attention is definitely on the log truck. You know, there's no missing
Now there's a metaphor.
Now, here's another question. You must have people pull over and want to give you rides sometimes.
Yes, I do.
And how do you approach that? That must be a bit awkward when you're like, hey, look, sorry, I'm walking the world, I've got to keep walking.
It depends, you know, like if it's bucketing down and I'm totally miserable and it's completely horrible, I go, thank you, and try to stuff everything in the back of the car and climb in.
Good on you.
If on the other hand, you know, it's just like a day when I'm walking and there's no great challenge, and I just go, look, really, really thank you. You know, a lot of them will do that and they'll say, look, I don't have any cash on me, but I could give you a lift. You know, I see you take donations, and I go, you know, your donation is actually having taken the trouble to stop and offer the ride, thank you, but no thank you. You know, and
that's a good response.
It's and it varies, you know, it depends who's offering.
And I'm just thinking there was something else. So do you ever have people like who just get interested and just drive along really slowly so they can talk to you? Maybe like cyclists or something.
Yeah. It's not happened yet. I got there's a couple of people walking. Paul, for example, who's taking the photographs in the studio at the moment, has been walking with me for 4 weeks now, and he originally planned to walk for 1 week just to get some photos. And then after the agony of the first couple of days, which I also experienced in my first couple of days, he sort of went, actually, this is not so bad. And after a week, he's going, I don't know whether I ever want to stop doing this. You know, this is so amazing. He got the same vibe, the same thing happening, and the amount of not knowing that happens is just astounding. So you have no concept, for example, where you're going to sleep that night. You have no real idea necessarily how you're going to make, you know, a few nuts and some rice and a small tin of tuna into a decent meal that night. But they're about the only things you need to worry about. So, you know, you really are in this kind of space of who knows what is going to happen, and when you're in that space, amazing things happen. And I think that also is a metaphor, is that we're so busy trying to plan how things should be, that we never actually give anything an opportunity to be just how it's going to be.
Oh, it's very important to have scheduled randomness time. You know?
Yeah.
It's very important. You've got to fit in periods of time where there's no rules, no plans, no regulation, no structure.
Yeah. Try the scheduled randomness of 24 hours a day for just 1 week.
And on that note, we have to move on.
We do.
Can I mention?
I feel very, very shallow right now.
We're going to leave the last of the sales pitch.
I know.
I've got to do the sales pitch.
I've just realised today I'm fat, right? I'm not necessarily in the career path that I should be on, and I'm just about to go and buy a house. How fucked is that? And this guy's walking the world.
It depends. How are you feeling about it?
Now, right now,
yeah.
I'm going to think about you for the rest of the day, basically. And if I see you in my dreams, I'll say hello.
I feel like this guy could be a marriage destroyer. Out there destroying marriages.
It's a simple thing, you know, if it's
destroying workplaces, you know, people losing their key employees, businesses crumbling.
I'm being facetious. I have a great respect for what you're doing. I think it's wonderful, Peter. I really do.
Thank you.
Now, Peter's got the last of the sales pitch.
Yeah, no, go on.
So we're going to give you
the floor, and then we have to get on.
Thank you. So the serious thing that's completely unserious as well. It's like this is meant to be a really beautiful way to spend your life. So let's drop the word serious. is if you want to investigate what it is that you're doing and how it is that you're doing it and whether it is actually what you want to be doing, then pop along tonight and come and have a conversation, essentially, from 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock, goes through till 10. It costs, depending on what you want to pay. So it's like, if you want to pay nothing to come along, then pay nothing to come along, and I promise you that you will receive 10 times back what it is that you pay. So if you pay nothing, you get 10 times that back. If you decide to pay $20, you get $200 back, and that will be nothing to do with anything I have to do, nothing to do with my skill. It'll be about how well you embrace being able to choose those things that you want in your life, rather than some kind of pre-programmed thing that says that you're a slave to a god, to a government, or to any man or woman or anything else.
And this is happening at?
It's happening at 53 Thompson Street, downstairs at 53 Thompson Street, so it's not far from here.
Okay, 7 p.m, 53 Thompson Street, and you're calling it it's your Quantum Leap workshop.
Yeah, it's an introductory workshop to Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep in touch.
Good.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you
for the
opportunity.
And fluffy now, do you know what I mean?
Good.
You might have to spend the weekend walking, Redbird.
Oh, dude, man, tell me about it. And Liliana as well, and to Paul, good on you. So keep walking, keep walking.
The time is?
9:29, but it's pretty irrelevant.
9:29. You're
21st century.
Radioactive.
Yeah. Genius. Thanks so much.
Thank
It
you
was a
very
really
much.
nice conversation, mate.
Really most appreciated.
All good.
Better get a shot of you.
Last time you see this, that, mate.
Sure.